This video is going to be all about diagnosing this engine, figuring out why it doesn't want to run. I don't know how to do timestamps, so I'm just going to put them down in the description. I don't know if it's where you can click on them and they'll jump in, if that automates that, or if I have to do that manually, and I don't know how to do that. So I'll put in the stamps for valve adjustment, primary clutch removal, checking and setting, timing on this motor, and a compression test. Alright, so me and homeboy over here have deciphered that it's not a carb issue, because no matter how much we play with the carb, we can't get it to spitter and sputter anymore. It's not an ignition issue because we got good spark there. So we're thinking it's going to be either compression, valve adjustment, or timing. Leaky valves, or timing. Because this thing's got a timing belt that runs from your cam, well, it runs off your crank up to your cam. Well, you got to pull the clutch to check that down below. So before we get into that, and before I rattle together a compression tester, because my Harbor Freight one don't work, we got to use a real gauge and a little ball valve, and yeah. We're going to do this easy. Now, this is 2-cylinder motor, so just pretend like it's only that. And it makes it easier. Except you just do it twice. And just like every other air-cooled 4-stroke overhead valve cam motor, you set it somewhere from 2 to 5 thou. Most of the time, it's 3 to 4. On all the old Hondas, it's 3 in, 4 out. But on this, according to the old Google or interweb, it's 4 thou. Now, everyone's always telling you, oh, top dead center, make sure you're this, make sure you're that. How do I know? You don't need to worry about all that. All you're doing is adjusting where that bolt hits your valve. What moves that bolt up and down? Well, it's on the rocker arm. The rocker arm does this. Your cam pushes on your rocker arm to do that. When you're adjusting valves, all you're adjusting is the free play between that bolt and your valve stem, top of it, wherever they interact. I'll show you that. When your cam lobe is not hitting it. So if you watch while homeboy over here, let me get you a better angle, get you in there, you know, so you can see. Watch him turn that over. Watch those rockers. Oh, see how that one goes up and down? Stop. Right there. That's your cam lobe. You just want to make sure both of your lobes on the cylinder you're adjusting, which is this one right now. All right, 2 cylinders. We're only doing this one. So if you look, that one's down, and that lobe is just starting to hit. So if he turns real slow, you'll see that valve finish going down and come back up. See that? Okay, stop now. So we know that lobe was there, now it's there. That lobe was there, which means now it's down below. If we look in there and I can't get you the angle, just trust me. That lobe's pointing down and that one is off. He's going to give it just a little more of a turn, just to be double sure. Okay, so right now neither of those rockers are hitting either of those lobes. This is where you check your valve clearance between. Now he's playing with that one for no reason.
No,
it's checking the clearance between here and here. Sorry, I'm new with this whole camera thing. Now, if you're going to be doing this like more than once, you're going to want to get this nice. How did I get this camera stand thing? That'll work. Okay. How you adjust these, and you can do it the hard way, the easy way, it's all the same. You need whatever size your nuts are. In this case, it's a 10 mil. And whatever type of fastener that is. In this case, it's a flat. What you would do, we don't care what they're at right now. We're just trying to get to where they got to be. So we'll loosen that. Then, take your hand, and you feel the little click. Let me loosen this so you could actually see it. Let me exaggerate a little. See that free play before you actually push into the valve spring? That's all we're trying to adjust. You want to make that your magic number. In this one, it's 4 thou. So, you take your feeler gauges and you find yourself 4 thou. Well, how do these work is that's your 1,000th of an inch measurement try to not blind you. There's your millimeter measurement. We want to be 4th out, intake and exhaust. Take that guy, double check there's nothing on it, wipe the oil and the grease off it, and you're going to put it between that bolt underneath and your valve. Now, you take this and you tighten it down real gently until, can you see how that's moving in and out? You want to tighten down until it starts to grab that. See right there, it's jumping? That's where you want that to be. Now notice the orientation of my blade. Straight up and down from where you're looking. So I'm going to pull that out. Tighten that by finger. Pull this off. Set that on there. Don't tighten it. Locate this, again, with your screwdriver. Again, straight up and down. Hold it. Keep it right there, and you're going to tighten this to a certain torque. I don't know what that is. You just, until it's snug, and then just a kiss more. You ain't trying to bolt down a train bridge or nothing. You're just trying to hold that guy from moving. Now you double check your work. So again, you take your feeler gauge, same measurement, 4th thou. Wipe her off in case you got dirt or something on there. And you put her in there. And you can see it scrapes. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? It's doing it. But it goes in and out without bending. That one's done perfect. Now, if you're doing this often, you got to get the right tool for the job. These guys, CTA, they make these little valve adjusters, and they are the cat's pajamas. You got 3 different sizes, 8, 9, 10 mil, you know, and they're labeled. How convenient. So you see that guy fits on there. Perfect. Now, if you look, that's hollow. You could peekaboo through that thing. Whoa! You guys went for a ride. That's okay. Then you take, it's got these inserts. You got a small square, a big square, and a flat. Well, these are flathead, so we're going to take that one. Now, you're going to put this guy on here. Remember, we don't care what it's at right now. We just want to get to our number. So, yeah. Crack that guy loose. Okay. You take this guy, hold it. You just hold it. Set your feeler gauge in there. On this one, see, she don't even want to go in. So let's make it easy. Take that not all the way, but give her a couple turns out. See, we're rocking. Now we'll go back finger snug. Okay. This is where it gets easy because you could double check while you do it. So we know that's finger snug. It needs to turn. We'll put that 10 mil outer piece on there. Now we're going to take our inner, which is our flat guy, drop it on the ground. We'll never find it again. Or under the carb. Man, it's like I dropped a bolt down there earlier and I already had the magnet for that. Take your flat guy. Drop that down in there until it catches. So now we're caught. So now I'm going to slowly tighten. Oh, just starting to catch and jump a little. Now I'm going to hold that. And I'm going to tighten this 10 mil. Just till it's snug and a little more. Just like that. Now I'm going to take this. Can you hear it? It's not bending, it's not tweaking it, not kinking it, but it's squeaking. That's perfect. Now, so we know this side's done. Now we're going to look at these cam lobes, or pretend if this is a single cylinder motor, we're starting over. So, if I roll this over, we got that cam lobe came off. You watch that rocker go up. Now that cam lobe's coming off, and that rocker's down. And I can look underneath, and I can see the tip of this rocker lobe pointing at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. It's pointing that way. This one's pointing this way. So we know we're off both of them. I'm going to do the same thing on this. and we're going to see where we get from there. But that's a simple how to adjust your valves real quick, dirty, easy, no issues. The only time that you can't do it like this is if you have puck style adjusters, which that's a whole different animal. That's your newer, your liquid cooled, like 2000s and later, or your high performance street bike motors, blah blah blah. I'm just talking air cooled, basic overhead cam motors. Your Predators are like this. Your Honda GX single cylinders, all your Honda 4-wheeler, 3-wheelers, your Cowie 3-wheelers, 4-wheelers, dirt bikes, all the old stuff, air cooled 4-stroke. That's how you do it. Alright, so we're going to get this clutch off so that we can get this timing cover off and check timing. It looks like I got to pull the motor to do that, but we're going to try to not do that. They make a special puller that goes in here. Let me explain how this works first. This clutch, which is from this metal sheave all the way out to here, is held in with this bolt that goes into the crank on the motor. That's on a tapered shaft up in here, and that's it. It's only that long. So I don't know if that's got a hole drilled in it. We could do the grease trick, but we're gonna make our own puller here. Now when you buy a puller, all it is a bolt that's, I don't know, maybe that long, but it's threaded for the big thread on the end here, which according to the internet and the EZGO groups is 3/4 fine thread, and it does thread in. Now I put a little grease on there because that's a brand new bolt, and those are probably dirty. There'll be a little bit of force on there, so I might as well help it, you know, lubricate its way in. This is just a 4-inch piece of 5/8 rod that is going to push off the motor crank, and what's going to happen is that pushes against the motor crank, and then we're going to tighten this into the clutch here, and that's going to pull the clutch away from the crank. Now when you buy the tool online, this is all one piece. It's got a little fancy end on it, whatever. We're going to try this because I obviously didn't plan ahead and buy the tool for $12 on Amazon. So I just spent $25 at the local hardware store getting a 3-foot rod of 5/8 and a $5 bolt. So let's see if that'll do what we need it to. And then that's just a strap wrench to help hold this clutch from spinning. I got the brake on, but you got 2 unengaged clutches. I don't think the brake's going to do much. So here we go. A little turn at a time. Okay, now we're engaged where this bolt has hit the rod that's in there. So now I gotta find a way to hold this tight while I tighten this. Alright, try to get you guys a better view. You didn't miss nothing. Alright, we're gonna try this again. Got a little flustered, a little frustrated. Taking too long. I loosened the starter generator. Took that belt off. Took the primary belt off. Now I got nothing in the way. We're gonna try to ratchet this like a pipe wrench, except with a strap. So if that needs to go that way, I need to push this way. This needs to go like so. This will go here. And then I tighten. Come on, get on there. I can just slip it in the strap wrench. If I can keep the strap wrench on it because it's tapered. Whoa! I guess we're gonna die today, buddy. Frickin' light just fell off of my homemade roof holder thingy so I can see what I'm doing. But in the meantime, of me smashing my fingers, clutch is off. Perfect. Now I can look in there. Hey! Oh, I don't want to put you guys sideways. You can't see. Put that down. Look at, someone's been in here. See that? Why is that right there? Sorry. Why is that clean and the rest is dirty? Someone been in there. So let's pull this timing cover. Should be 4 10-mil bolts, and we'll go from there. I don't really have a spot to put you guys. I guess I could do this. Drop some wrenches. Sorry, making more noise. Put you back in the tripod, guy. Now, give me a little break, because I'm new at this whole taking videos thing. Let me get the ratchet. Should be over here. Here it is. Yep. Don't do this. Get in there. Come on. Why you gotta fight me? I just want to be friends. I need an extension. Or gently relocate that. Okay, what do we got going on here? Obviously, there's a timing belt. Look at that. That's not good. I guess that would be the adjuster. That makes sense. Where's the timing marks on this? How do those work on this thing? See, we're learning together, because I don't know nothing about these EZGOs. I just know, kind of how stuff works. Sometimes. How do we set time on this? Well, that's a 27 tooth. No, it's not. That's the part number. Forget I said that. Oh, it goes this way. Man, this thing is easy to turn over. I don't see no timing marks. Oh, there's one. That little dot right there with that notch. But how do I know if the crank's timed? I guess I gotta look this up. Do some Googling, and I'll get back to you. Alright, did some Google YouTubing. Some other guys, they already did this, so I'm just gonna tell you what they told me on the old YouTubes. This is a automatic timing belt tensioner. All you do is loosen this. There's a spring behind it. It pushes tighter. You don't have to adjust it by hand. You just loosen it and then retighten that bolt. That'll hold it. Now to check timing, obviously we're looking that notch right there to that dot. And then down here, you line up your Woodruff key to, there's a little dot stamped in the back of this cover. And it's kind of a pain to see it even when you get your head down here and you're looking that way. So, I pulled this off. There's a spring behind this that holds it. Something else I found, actually, is if you listen, it turns good, but that thing's shot. It's loose, it's noisy. That's going to get a new bearing. Slide your belt off. Now, before we go further, I don't know if this is an interference engine. What that means is if you turn this crank over and you're not at top dead center, because at top dead center your valves are closed. Remember, your cam has the lobes on it that push on the rockers, and they do this and push the valves down. I don't know if your valves are pushed down so they're open and your pistons come up they might contact each other. And then you would bend a valve and you'd have to do a whole rebuild. So it's very important you don't spin this thing over, either by the crank or spin the cam over more than you need to. So what we're going to verify is the V and that dot, which is good. Now you just slide this. There's a little, just a 10 mil with a big washer. And that goes over this. Oh, light's falling. Now, you slide this gear off. See that Woodruff key right there? And that little dot right there that's stamped into this case cover thing. Those two are lined up. Those two are lined up. We are timed appropriately. Now, while we're in here, we're going to put a new belt in here because for what? It's probably $15. Peace of mind, you might as well do it. Same thing with that tensioner that's making noise. So we'll throw this back together. Put that gear on. We'll put this on. Now this is ribbed. I don't know if I'm over explaining this, but your starter generator, which is this guy here, that goes to the back of your clutch, that's just a V-belt. Because these don't care where this is in rotation compared to where your clutch is in rotation. This absolutely matters. That's why it's ribbed, so that it's always located. So we'll put this guy back on. And it should slide on the teeth right. Now your tensioner pushes this way. So you want no slack on this side when you're in your teeth. So if I go right there, that's lined up, and the top's lined up, and the tensioner is going to push on this side. I'll then take my tensioner, I'll show you. This is the back side of it. That spring goes in there. This will push up against that. And now you just kind of wiggle it around until that goes into its bolt hole. You gotta spin that a little. There you go, that's started. I guess I don't have a 12 mil socket anymore. There it is. I'll just give that a little bit of a pressure with the finger. That's good. So now that's tight. We don't have any slack there or timed up there and there. So now we know it's most likely not a timing issue. When I took this apart, I just spun it until this was lined up, and that bottom I just verified. I didn't spin them, make any adjustments at all. So I guess we're on to the next thing, which I'll show you in a second. We kind of got a smoking gun that we found after we stopped the video the other day. Remember we adjusted these valves about, well, for me it's 3 days. For you guys it's probably like 5 minutes. Something we noticed towards the end. We looked really close. I'll zoom you in. On these cam lobes. Okay? Let's look at this one. Come on, get the right angle so you can see. Let's look at this one right here. If I turn this over, and you could just see the shiny bit on it. See that little flat spot? Really small. Really small. Right there. It's shining in the light. It just hit the rocker. Right there. That's kind of normal wear when you're working on something 20, 30 years old. But we go into this guy. Oh, this thing's a pain in the ass to turn over without a doodad on it. There we go. Do you see? Oh, see that big flat spot right there? That's bad. Because when this thing's turning, right, the cam turns this way. Don't pay attention right now. I'm just getting a reset. This motor, let me back you out, spins this way. Comes over this way. When I spin this way, the cam goes backwards. That's fine. That's how they designed it. So, let me go backwards the wrong way. Now it spins this way. So, what's happened is that cam's coming up and we're hitting a flat spot on that rocker, which isn't, holy shaky, is not pushing down on that valve enough to open it. That could be our problem. I got to get a compression tester and check that, but just in the research I've done in the past couple days, we're looking at like $230 for a cam. And no one wants to sell used parts off these motors, apparently, in all the Facebook groups, because I've asked. So, customer might be biting the bullet on this one. But if I'm going to do a cam, I might as well do all these, because these are really soft. Like, I've never seen an engine where I can push this valve plate down. And there's little keepers in there, and if we get this far, I'll show you how that all works. But I've never seen an engine where I could just, with my finger, push that down. So these springs are either really weak, or they purposely made these very soft because of the application, i.e. being in a golf cart where it's starting and stopping, and it has a belt to run it. So I'm gonna look up some more parts, and after I do a compression test, and we'll go from there. But if we do end up doing a cam, we're gonna do all the valves, we're gonna resurface the valve seals or seats, whatever you want to call them, and a top end rebuild, which means I would pull the head before any of that and order all the parts, because you can get stock piston, you can get 0.50 of a millimeter over, so a half mil bigger bore. And then I got a plan to get this head off, or head's got to come anyways, get this cylinder off and send that to a machine shop. So, I'll give you an update soon. Continuing troubleshooting on this EZGO. Probably should have been one of the first things I tested, but finally got my hands on a compression tester. It ain't mine, I borrowed it. I can't afford this kind of shit. But I figure let's run through how to do a compression test. So, carb's on, exhaust is on. Now we're just gonna, we got this threaded in, we're hooked up. Just double check, we're reading 0 when it's depressurized. We're gonna spin it over, see what we get. Now I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna do it wrong the first time, then I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna show you something. So if we just start this thing up, we're just tickling 100 PSI, okay? Marginal if that motor would run with 100. It would run like poo-poo at 100 PSI. But, I don't know if I could get it where you could still see this without making much of a difference. I'll just hold it right here. So we're at 100. Let's reset there. We're at 0. So we're at fire it up, just tickling 100. But you got to open the carb so that the thing's getting the air it normally gets. 150 PSI, call it 145. That's a pretty healthy motor. At least that cylinder is healthy. So let's take this off. Switch to the other cylinder. Now these compression testers, they're regular threads, but they seal with an O-ring, so you don't gotta kill them. Finger tight, and then I just give it a turn until the hose starts spinning, and that's all you need. Click our gauge back on, make sure we're depressurized, and we'll do it again. So we turn it over. Uh-oh. That's not good. Notice the noise coming out of the intake? That fire cylinder, which is over there, just so happens to be the same one that's got a bad cam lobe. So, real quick thinking, yes, a bad cam lobe, and it is on the intake valve, is going to let this thing not make as much air. Sorry, not make as much compressor because it's not opening enough to let air in. I might be wrong. I got to actually think about how the lobe of the cam pushes on the rocker, opens the valve, that kind of deal. But it also made a different noise when I had that throttle all the way open compared to the other one. So, what do we do now? I think the next step is to pull the head off this, look down the cylinders, and see if they both look the same. If they both got good cross-hatching and I got no signs of wear, then we'll try just the cam to get away with. If they got wear in them, then it needs a full rebuild at that point, which isn't technically a full rebuild because I'm not going to do the bottom end, but I'm going to do piston, rings. We're going to go one size over whatever's in there. I'm assuming if it's stock, we'll go one size over stock, which means I got to take the cylinder to the machine shop, get that done. But that'll be a complete gasket kit, and I'm going to do the one because we already smoked the cam lobe, and I'm assuming the rocker because they ride on each other. We're going to get new rockers and new valve springs and valves and valve seals. So, next video, I'll be getting that apart.